Here, this Perp back with another video, and this is just going to be my thoughts on the first two episodes of Creature Commandos. Now, this is the first project coming out of the DCU, James Gunn's universe. Not gonna get into all of that, I just want to get right into it. So, I really like how they give us a lot of information in the first episode. We get the setup of the big bad, Cersei, and I also like how they talk about Theramis, where Wonder Woman is from, and it doesn't seem like Wonder Woman at this time is established yet, because it seems like the island she comes from is still looked at as like a myth, but she wants to go to this place where they also, who I'm talking about is Task Force M, that gets established in this as well. They head off to this place as well to kind of protect the princess type of mission. And I also like the whole breakdown of them saying what is canon and what isn't canon, talking about the events of Suicide Squad, talking about what happened to Rick Flag Sr.'s son in previous movies. So yeah, we get a lot of that information. And they also mentioned the events of the end of Peacemaker Season 1. And I know this is supposed to go into Peacemaker Season 2 after the series wraps up and whatnot. But very interesting stuff to kind of let you know, or just to establish what's going on. We also establish our main characters, that is in Task Force M, Task Force Monster, the Bride. We focus a lot on the Bride in these first two episodes, more so on the second episode. Dr. Phosphorus, they break down all their different abilities and why they're here. Nina seems like she's going to be a key character, because even Amanda Waller makes it known that like she might be the one to kind of bring people together. And I like that they're kind of kicking things off the rip. It's very much similar to Suicide Squad, like their introduction. Some people might have issue with that. It seems like they're retreading old stuff, but it makes sense in this case scenario. I think how they explain everything, it makes sense. So they're heading off to this mission. They pretty much meet the princess, and the princess is really interesting because there's something a little off about her character. She is fairly flirty with Rick and whatnot, tries to kind of throw herself at him. He kind of just rejects it at first, and he's just wants to stay focused on the mission. Meanwhile, the Bride, she has other motives because she's been here before. She's been in this area. She has history with this area, and her and Nina go off to a location which we'll talk about very shortly. Also, we get a first glimpse of like the action and what to expect as far as the visuals on that end are going to look like. And this was a really solid first fight, even though Rick Flag couldn't really do nothing with Dr. Phosphorus. He definitely has more, he's a more strategic fighter than Dr. Phosphorus, but he just has that leverage because he can like radiate this stuff off of his skin, so it makes it hard for Rick to even, pretty much get a handle on him. So I like how they displayed the action in this episode, which then leads to the end of the first episode where we pick up where Nina and the Bride went, and the Bride pretty much shows Nina where she was created and where she was born. And of course, one of the neighbors were snooping, gets on the phone, calls Frankenstein. So obviously there's some history there, which makes this stuff really interesting and compelling as far as characters goes. So far, the Bride has the most interesting things going on. So then we get to episode 2, where we see Rick getting taken care of by the princess, and the princess finally takes another shot at Rick, and they end up, fucking in this episode. He ends up hitting that. And I'm wondering if she has some type of alternative, like, kind of motive. It seems like something is kind of off with just this whole kind of gig. You can never really trust Amanda and her missions, so this is going to be interesting, and this might obviously be a distraction for Rick, because while this is going on, the bride is able to escape and everybody's, doing their own thing. And we get a lot of backstory on the bride and Frankenstein and this whole kind of love triangle thing that's going on, and her looking for this amulet that might be key to just everything. And for some odd reason, Cersei is after this as well, or she might have some other type of motive, or she might have known her maker as well. Really interesting, fascinating, and emotional story with this, where Frankenstein, she was made to be the bride of Frankenstein, but she's in love with the maker, not Frankenstein. This causes a rift amongst these characters and leads down a dark path. But before we can get any further, we have this showdown between Cersei and the bride, and this was really dope because it really shows you what the bride could do, how adorable she is, how formidable she is as an opponent to go against somebody like Cersei's. So that was really dope. The only downside is Cersei has magic, so she's able to turn the bride's hand into some noodles and really just get the upper hand and start fucking her shit up. And this was a brutal ass fight, and as this is kind of going on, we're getting flashes of her backstory, and I'm curious to see where this is going to go. But I really like this fight. It's definitely the highlight of the 2 episodes, the best of the 2 episodes in my opinion, and just really showing what the animation is capable of with all these different characters and whatnot. And I'm curious to see what Cersei's ultimate goal is. I know she wants to go to war with Thermos Tagara and stuff like that, but I'm curious to see where her storyline goes, because it's dope that we get introduced to a Wonder Woman villain, so we're already establishing things early on. And yeah, let me know how you guys feel about this whole entire fight. What were some of your favorite moments, or do you prefer the Rick Flag and Dr. Phosphorus fight? But yeah, so we find out also that Frankenstein killed the maker, and they have been kind of going back and forth, having this like kind of abusive relationship. He really wants to just love her, but he's just going about it in the most wrong way possible, and she's been running away from him ever since. And I'm curious to see if Frankenstein is going to end up, seeing how to actually love her, or is he just more so going to play more of an obstacle. And old girl got Nina, she got her fucking what was it, her little glass bubble thing smashed, so she can barely even breathe, and she blames the bride for all of this. They end up getting kidnapped. Then the episode ends. Overall, solid episode. I really prefer episode 2 over 1, even though 1 gives us a lot of information, catching us up on certain events, establishing what's canon and what's not. I really dug it. Let me know how you guys feel about these first 2 episodes. I'm gonna do a follow-up and watch the rest of the series, because I know this is a short series, so I don't know if I'm gonna cover this week to week. But yeah, really enjoyed this. I think this is a really good, strong start for the DCU. It gives me Doom Patrol meets Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad vibes, and I'm all for it. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's something unique. And I'm looking forward to Superman and everything else that's coming down the pipeline for the DCU. I think this is going to be a really interesting rollout. Let me know how you guys feel about these 2 episodes and everything as a whole. Till next time, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.